Hello Internet, today I would like to show you how to transfer a whole cloth quilt pattern to a piece of dark fabric. In the example today, I am using one of my tapestry patterns. It has been printed with cut marks to make the pattern easier to line up. Start by cutting only the right side of each sheet on the top row. Trim the top and right side of each sheet for every row after the first. You do not need to cut the right edge of any of the sheets on the far right side of each row. This will make it a lot easier to line up your pattern. Use a glue stick to secure the sheets to each other. It holds them together well enough that you can move the pattern around, yet it still allows for readjustments. It also allows you to continue the project before the glue dries. Use a large sheet of paper to stabilize a pattern. Poster board can be used, but I found it to be less expensive in the long run to use a sheet of painter's paper off a roll. Lay the pattern face down and place the glue-covered large sheet on top. After the pattern is stabilized, trim the excess paper off. You may notice I am using cutting tools designed for quilting. I keep a rotary blade set aside specifically for cutting paper. It might seem like a waste of a rotary blade, but I have kept the same paper blade for about 5 years. It comes in handy when wrapping gifts or any other paper cutting related activities. Now comes the poking. When poking the pattern, I use multiple layers of cardboard under the pattern to allow larger holes to be made. I use a leather marking tool. You can use anything that will produce holes big enough to mark through, but small enough to keep your pattern accurate. On the parts of the pattern with a lot of movement, place the holes closer together. On the smoother parts of the pattern, place the holes up to 1 inch apart. Always place a dot on each corner and intersection. Please note that your hand may cramp when you do this step. Breaks are more than acceptable, and crafting is meant to be enjoyable, not torturous. After your pattern is thoroughly punctured, turn it over and gently sand the back of the pattern with 320 grit sandpaper or a green scuff pad from the kitchen. Doing this will remove the fibers blocking the holes. Thoroughly clean your work area and get out your fabric. Use painter's tape to stabilize the fabric. I should have used more tape during this step. Taping the sides down will make later steps easier. Tape only the top of the pattern down so that you have a hinge you can lift the pattern with. This keeps the pattern aligned in case you missed a few dots. I use a Fons & Porter mechanical fabric marking pencil when I mark my quilt patterns. Use small circular motions with just enough pressure to mark the fabric. Try to avoid breaking the lead. If it breaks too much, eventually it will cause a jam in your pen. Once you have your dots in place, simply connect the dots until your pattern is finished. It's not necessary, but I use check marks to help me keep track of the sections that I've done. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you found a few useful tidbits in it.